Set 3 or 4 habits that you want to create for yourself. So find 6 habits and decide every day you're going to do 4, but never compensate day to day. There's reasons for doing this. Let's say one day train if you're not already, run if you're not already doing that, write if you're not already doing that, gratitude practice, NSDR, and I don't know, eat a vegetable. So you're going to list those out on your calendar, and then every day you're going to do at least 4, but as many as 5. But if one day you only get 1, you don't carry over and do 10 the next day. If you understand the dopamine system, you'll understand why. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to train up a circuitry for giving yourself random intermittent reward for performing these habits on a regular basis. So people will go do these heroic workouts, or they'll do a ton of stuff and then they'll reward themselves, and they've just undermined the whole process of being able to do that consistently. It's a little complicated, but the way that reward schedules work is you're trying to teach the circuitry to work regularly, be rewarded only every once in a while and at random. Look to the neuroscience of habit building. You would be wise to put certain habits at the early part of the day and certain habits at the later part of the day. I call phase 1 of the day from 0 to 9 hours after waking. That period of the day, assuming that you're getting that sunlight exposure and a little bit of movement, but even if you're just getting some sunlight exposure, is going to be associated with high epinephrine, high dopamine, slightly higher cortisol. Certain habits we could call linear habits. These are things that you know how to do and you just need to do them. And so those sorts of habits would go well in that 0 to 9 hours. Then phase 2, go from about 10 hours till about 16 or 17 hours after waking. We tend to be a little bit sleepier. We tend to be a little bit calmer, at least, not necessarily sleepy. It's clear that other habits that have to do with what we call non-linear brain operations, things like creative writing, brainstorming with a group, brainstorming with yourself, analytic work that is where there is no clear right answer. It's not plug and chug, it's more exploratory. Go best in the second phase, phase 2. I was thinking about rolling jiu-jitsu earlier. I can't even call it rolling jiu-jitsu. I've only done it once, but clearly there's a lot of moment-to-moment creativity and kind of sorting things out. Whereas weightlifting, it's sets and reps. You're trying to complete a certain amount of sets and reps. You're trying to cover a certain amount of distance running, linear versus non-linear. And then, of course, there's the 17 to 24 hours, which is phase 3. And during that time, you want to be engaging one set of habits, which is sleep. Okay, roughly, it could be 16 to 24 hours, et cetera. So try and put the habits you're trying to form into the times of day in which those will actually be easiest. This sort of violates the earlier rule of try and access limbic friction. If there's something that you're really trying to adopt, more exercise, and that exercise is running a certain distance in a certain amount of time, put that in the early part of the day. If you're trying to do creative work, do in the second part of the day. If you are trying to develop a new skill that's exploratory, second part of the day. If you're trying to learn a skill that has defined steps already, it's linear, early part of the day.